One, wake up, brother, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. Afloat, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, brother, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
My bite's not close to my bark, buddy. And slid down so we can see a red suitcase right here for law enforcement if they're watching and you guys would like to come back here. Of her being out here. So this is what we're doing today. We will see you guys back here real soon.
Do you know how many people say things like, they make me so angry? What do I hear? I have given my power and my emotional state over to someone else. They make me so angry? That would imply you don't have a choice in the matter. When you emotionally mature, you choose how to move your energy, which does not mean you're not without emotion, and it does not mean that you do not experience different kinds of emotion. What it means is you take responsibility and control for how that gets expressed and what you do with it.
to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, hello, my beautiful people of YouTube. I hope you guys are doing wonderful this evening. Doing wonderful. We got some things to go over, and no, it's not Dolly's package, okay? PJ, I just want to say, God bless you. I don't know how in the world you managed to go through all that today without, like, just wanting to rage, but it was a necessary evil for Bullhorn Betty. It had to go in. But I see PJ in the chat. I just want to give a shout out to her and just tell her I love her. And what did it say? I knew this was coming. I used 21andMe. Yes. We're going to be going over this. This is going to be flipping interesting. I got to tell you, I found some stuff. Look, I went back into the vault of YouTube, right? I forget how much incredible amount of work I did on the Idaho 4 case. And I'm telling you, I don't know about you, but I think I'm looking pretty. I think my bedhead Betty this day and age looks so much better than my bedhead Betty 11 months ago. I have to be honest with you. I was exhausted. You can see these bags under my eyes for this first video, and we're going to go over it because it's going to be the prelude to our discussions here. I'm almost embarrassed that I put that out. I didn't give a shit. You know, when I'm working, right? Hot mess or not, if the information needs to get out, it's getting out there, whether Bullhorn Betty's hair, face, or makeup. I looked at this and I'm like, oh, you've got to be joking me. Please tell me I'm not putting this up on my screen this evening. Yes, I'm putting this up on my screen this evening. Holy smokes. I'll give you guys a little taste, and I'm pulling it right down. Okay, you guys are not going to laugh at me just yet. We're not there yet. I got to say hi to everybody first. We're not getting there yet. Okay. Shannon, it's nice to see you. Bullhorn Betty's present. Emma, Kathy, it's nice to see you. Gigi for life. I am Team Summer. Pebbles. Stacy, Be Betty fan, good evening, cool gamer. Christina, it's nice to see you, love. Who else do we have? The Real Me Too bookworm. Oh yeah, and PJ. I thought it was fitting. Okay, that's my avocation. We are talking about Bryan Kohberger. We're going to be talking about Bryan Kohberger. I promise. So bookworm, it's nice to see you, PJ. Good evening. Unicorn, hello, Jefferson. Just when you don't think people know a lot, you know so much, little Watson. Maddie Down, nice to see you. B. Betty, The Real Me Too. It's nice to see you, Crystal Lynn. Nice to see you all. Old Rusty Kettle. Rusty, nice to have you here. Good evening. Kathy, I think I already said hi to Kathy. Kathy's one of my BFFs up in here. Jackie. Pushable. You guys crack me up. Katrina, it's nice to see you. Sonia, welcome everybody. I'm going to try to keep a straight face, right? I almost want to put the Bryan Kohberger, the funny video that we did of Bryan Kohberger. I'm just scrolling down. Oh, Reggie, nice to see you, love. Good evening. Ooh, Mav's up in the house too. Look at that. Nice to see you. Ooh, look who we haven't seen in a while. Brad, nice to see you, love. Nice to see you. Jesus loves me. Jesus loves us all. Jesus loves me. This I know, for the Bible tells me so. Right. Oh, sorry.
Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so.
All right, I'm back. Nice to see you, Skittles. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you. So I was talking, we didn't really touch. We've been kind of bouncing around between some information on Alex Murdaugh, some information on Rex Heuermann. We've been covering a few other oddities, oddball cases that are just coming up. Nice to see you, the real me too. You know what I'm saying? So this is going to be interesting because I got to tell you, I'm going to put this video on. It's like an 8-minute video. I'm a hot mess. I got to be honest with you. I could tell I was exhausted. And when we're working, we are working. We don't really have a whole lot, but damn, I looked awful. I'm allowed to say that now that I'm home and I'm rested and I don't have bags for days and I'm not sleep deprived and I didn't just freeze my little rear end off in Idaho. And I forgot about it. You know what? You guys remember? The plane left us. Remember that? All of our clothes, we had nothing. No luggage. We had nothing. And I mean nothing. We had to go and get undergarments. Like, we had nothing. We had to get undergarments, toothpaste, and toothbrush. We had nothing. We had cash and the clothes on our back. That's what we had. I forgot all about that. I literally did. So, yeah, I'm going to put this up. We're going to watch this just real quick, and then we're going to kind of start dovetailing into our conversations. Guys, I'm telling you, this is going to be interesting. We are going to go over the arguments the defense is going to raise about this investigative genetic genealogy testing. They're going to be challenging the hell out of this genetic genealogy testing. They want to make the DNA fruit from the poisonous tree. That is their only way. They're going to be, at least there may be another way or two, potentially another way. But I want, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting. So I'm going to play this embarrassing video, but it's kind of like the intro to, I like this video. I like the information in this video. I just don't like my appearance. That's all. Hot mess. A face only a mother can love.
Hey YouTube, Bullhorn Betty here. So hopefully we shouldn't be missing our plane today. Knock on wood. I just wanted to tell you guys all good morning. We've been getting some additional information coming out about the Idaho 4. If people aren't familiar with who the Idaho 4 are, this is Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, Maddie Mogan, and Kaylee Gonsalves. Were murdered.
I couldn't even say Kaylee's last name.
Off-campus housing at the University of Idaho. This has rocked the community. As you can imagine, we have learned early on that these students were murdered by stabbing. Law enforcement came out early on and said this was a targeted and personal attack on those folks. Since then, we've learned a lot of information related to this case and certain people being cleared. We've heard through other media organizations that the family feels as if they're not being communicated with by law enforcement. We've heard that they are wanting this to come to an end. As you can imagine, the families of these victims, this is very, very hard. We've watched celebrations of life that, pulled at our heartstrings. Olivia and myself actually went to Moscow, Idaho to cover this case. The kids out there are very, very tight-lipped about everything. And it's a little concerning, quite frankly, that they are so tight-lipped, because in all fairness, the families are asking people to come forward. The families aren't getting the information that they want from law enforcement. And, the only way they're going to really be getting the information is if people start talking. We heard that testing results have come back. I have not heard that from the official ways, i.e. the Moscow Police Department Facebook page or their press releases. We haven't received any of that. All we have heard from the press releases is that some of the results have actually come back in. They're still waiting for other results. But today, I'm noticing throughout social media, across YouTube, a lot of people are stating that the DNA results were back and they cannot find, or the assailant has not been known to them or has never been in trouble before. I don't know how accurate that information is. A lot of the rumors that we have been hearing here since we've been here have actually, for the most part, turned out to be accurate. So it also makes me wonder, because we're hearing rumors that it is possible that one of the people inside the home, one of the victims that were killed, actually was killed in a different manner than the rest of them. Now, while the results have all been murder by stabbing for all four, it doesn't mean that maybe somebody else doesn't have additional injuries other than the stabbing. So it really does make me wonder what is going on. Are they coming close to finding the person that is responsible for this crime, this heinous crime? I know a lot of people are feeling like this is a serial killer. I'm still not there yet with this. I still think it's somebody that the girls know, somebody that was very, very, very angry. Maybe not somebody necessarily in their immediate inner circle, but definitely somebody that they've hung out with before, or at least know. But this person I described yesterday as being deranged and delusional. I really, truly believe this is somebody that was either embarrassed or humiliated and acted on that. I felt like with the four people that are going, that have passed away, I feel like their deaths were much more than like sexual deviant type stuff. I really kind of believe that this is a person that wanted to show them what he was capable of, something more in line with power. And I'm just curious who we're going to find out is responsible for this. But again, we are hearing through the grapevines, through these chats, that they believe the DNA match has not been made, but the DNA has been brought back, which is good. If we have DNA on file for anybody, assailants or not, that's a good thing. But however, I think the takeaway from all of this truly is that there is DNA to compare to. If these rumors that we're hearing are accurate, that they have DNA, but it's not matching anything, guys, that is huge. That is huge. That means that the assailant left their DNA at the residence. That means this case will be solved. I truly believe it. I knew in my heart and soul, and again, this is based upon if the information is absolutely accurate. We haven't corroborated the information yet, and hopefully the information will be coming out in due time. I will check the press conference release or press releases to see if they've made any statement about DNA not matching anyone so far or anything to that effect. But it does sound like there was DNA at the property. That is wonderful. So now what would, what needs to happen now? I saw a YouTuber post, multiple YouTubers post, that maybe people need to start voluntarily giving DNA. If they're not responsible for the crime, don't know who's responsible for the crime, and want to clear their name, I think it would behoove everyone, the frat people, the sorority people, the college people, to submit to DNA and help, solve this case. If you give DNA, you can be excluded, right? So let's exclude as many people as possible with the DNA. So if you have an opportunity, if you're watching from Moscow, Idaho, if you're at the University of Idaho, if you notice any kind of weird behaviors with any of your friends or family, you need to notify law enforcement. You need to submit to a DNA voluntarily and try to help solve this case. This case has rocked this community, folks, and they need your help. If you guys would like to come forward and tell us your side of what happened that night, we will keep you confidential. We will obscure your voice. We will do whatever we can do to make you comfortable so we can get this information out so the families can hear what happened, what is going on, what does the community know. The family is seriously seeking answers. Law enforcement is doing their investigation, but it surely would be nice if we can start providing some answers to the family related to this case.
So I'm going to stop it there. Those were some of the impressions that we had. We had already been out there. And like I said, I don't think it was anybody immediately. I know I misspoke there, but it wasn't. It was more of the outskirts. It was more of the outskirts, and we're finding out that it does appear that there is something there. It's just. It's an awful thing, but this was the capturing of that DNA, those first moments when we found out that there was DNA and that we knew that this case would be solved eventually, and you know how I feel about that word eventually. I absolutely hate the word eventually. I just, we heard it the other day, with the Shakira Rucker case, when they said, he knew that we would eventually find her. I don't like the eventually word. So now that we know that this DNA does exist, there's a lot of, oh, there it is. There it is. Hold on, let me move on. We definitely know that there's going to be challenges, and we see them really honing in on getting all the information about the investigative genetic genealogy testing or the forensic genetic genealogy testing, because it's forensic. It was done by the FBI, and it is still the same type of process in finding and locating, a familial DNA to a profile. It is now becoming a major thing that is solving a lot of cases. We all can't dispute the benefits of this investigative genetic genealogy, because we're seeing it plastered across all of our newspapers across this country, 20, 30, 40-year-old cases being solved, assailants being brought to justice 30 and 40 years. We're just all this stuff is starting to happen. If you notice, we're seeing a massive amount of those stories hitting our local and national newspapers, people being found many years ago. Thank you, Jen. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, please give Jen a thank you. Thank you always for the love and sponsorship. So without further ado, I just want to jump into this and start reading this. This is really interesting stuff, at least to me. Maybe you guys will get something out of it. Maybe you'll think it's just boring snooze fest stuff. But this is going to be what they are going to be challenging. I can guarantee you're going to hear a lot of this stuff as they start challenging this DNA. So I wanted to make sure that we had some real good, solid legal information that we could, get some real meaningful information from. And this is sources, right? So there's always some legal sources out there that really break down case law for people and explain it. And this is no different. And we're talking about, searches, and we know that discarded material such as cigarettes and stuff, law enforcement's constantly looking for stuff like that. You know how they went through the garbage and found DNA that ended up coming to be his father's DNA, because it was garbage. When it's thrown out, there is no search warrant process. It's discarded material, and therefore there is no, they can't challenge, say, the search of discarded materials. So those things aren't even necessary. But I wanted to read this. So here's some challenging, extractions and search of DNA from discarded items. I'm not really going to be focusing too much on that, because this is not discarded item. We definitely know that there was discarded item that is related to this case, and it was the garbage that matched his father to the profile. There's no, we haven't heard them challenging that. We haven't heard them bring that up. And when they do, we'll come back and read this section of it and get a good understanding what they are talking about. I think this is more in line. Prosecutors have argued that they're exempt from warrants regarding, in this context, warrantless collection of DNA does not. So that's related to people. So here's the challenging. This is where we need to be. So defense attorneys may also decide to challenge the forensic genetic genealogy search directly. You remember how the prosecution was withholding this information from the defense. They were saying that they wanted a protective order because of the million of people, or all the people that were generated as a result of this needed to be protected. Their privacy and their names needed to be protected. So that was one of the first strategies that the prosecution went to attack, trying to keep some of this genetic genealogy testing out of the court record. They wanted to keep it all out because they're not relying on it. That's what they're saying to the public and the courts, is that we're not relying on this investigative genetic genealogy testing. But the defense is saying, wait, not so fast, right? Let's not. How did you get to Bryan Kohberger? How did you get to Bryan Kohberger? How did you get to the arrest on November 30th? And they got the arrest because the material that came back was a 100% match to his father. Well, what led him to his father? What led law enforcement out to Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, to get the garbage collection, to send back to the lab, to get the hit, to have probable cause for the arrest? What brought you to that house in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania? And I have a funny feeling the defense is going to allege, even though the prosecution is going to want to distance themselves from this information. What is it? Look at I Smell Like a Rose's post. Okay. Betty, did you see they changed the last known location on Layla? Smell Like a Rose? No, I did not see that. I can tell you Olivia and I are going back to the Kingsport area in a week and a half. We've changed our search area. We changed our search area. We've got some new information that is leading us to a different location. And so that's going to be the area that we're going to be focusing on this next trip. And we'll be back out there in about another week and a half. Olivia and I both will be out there. We're meeting some wonderful people that's going to, either hang out with us, help us search, or whatever. As always, Sonia's always out there with us. Like, she's always beating the pavement whenever she has an opportunity. She's one of the first people that always raised their hand to participate. So God bless Sonia and the other two beautiful ladies that will be meeting us out there. So getting back to this Smell Like a Rose, if you have any more information, I would really like it. Maybe you can email. If you don't want to put long-winded information in the chat, you can email it to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com. That's bullhornbetty@gmail.com, or you can put it in the chat. And one of my mods, maybe you can be on the lookout for it, maybe clip it and put it in the rumor mill for me. I'd greatly appreciate that while I'm reading this stuff, because this is a kind of a lengthy amount of stuff here. So getting back to Bryan Kohberger, what led law enforcement to go to Albrightsville, Pennsylvania to pillage through the trash to make the connection? We're going to most likely find out that it was the investigative genetic genealogy testing, and that is where we're going to be focusing, because at the end of the day, if we know that they have to challenge this DNA, they need to make this DNA fruit from the poisonous tree. And the only way I can see the defense having a path forward with the fruit from the poisonous tree argument is challenging the investigative genetic genealogy, forensic genetic genealogy testing, as it's referred to here. So they're saying defense attorneys may decide. Let me just put this up so you guys can read along with me. Read Crystal Lynn. Hold on. Thank you guys. That is being helpful. About an hour ago, it was posted. Can somebody tell me where it's posted at? Official link for Layla. Crystal, yes. Hold on, Crystal. I know it's off topic, but let's pray for Jennifer Santinello. I just seen her TikTok. It broke my heart. Thanksgiving coming up. Okay, let's just go over it. Let me just go over to TikTok and see what's going on here. We can get back to the forensic genetic genealogy. Yes, we know. Yeah, well, two-faced. I know a few narcissists. They're not pretty. But boy, they do fool you. Let's see here. Jennifer Santinello. There we go. Let's see what we got. That's pinned. Which one is it? Which one did she post? I've seen her TikTok. It broke my heart. Thanksgiving, yes. I can't tell. Maybe I need to go to my cell phone. Hold on. I can't tell on here. Give me just a second.
This is New Cruiser calls 9.
Why can't I mute this? Let's just mute this for a second. Okay. Rose said, of course he did. Of course he did. After I say yesterday that I'm changing my search area, that dude is, you know what, now that I know who posted it, I'm over it. You know, he's always got to try. I'm done. He's a joke. He's an absolute effing joke. Effing joke. Just an absolute effing joke. And I don't know what to say. Whoever ever uses him is an idiot. To sponsor him, that's an idiot. Okay, moving on. Yes, we're going to be out there. We're changing locations. We found another area, and that's why I'm keeping it to myself, because he doesn't know that other area, and he's going to be blowing smoke up everybody's butt, thinking that he's got something when he does not. As always, that's what the whole. Oh, and then somebody had asked in the chat. They asked if he sued me, right? If he sued, no, he didn't. He uses my name to get attention to his case. That's what that was all about. That's why I blocked him, and I blocked his entire team, so they cannot keep dragging my name in for clout on Twitter. He's a piece of garbage, just piece of work. Pray Jen said she's having a hard time. I would like to play the video. If somebody could tell me which video it is, I would like to play it. We decided to here it is. We decided to eliminate Marble Slab as the last known sighting of Layla, June 27th. After lengthy conversation with TBI today, I'm confident that the Facebook group is. I try to paste, because it won't let you paste because you're not a mod. But it's in the Facebook. Okay, I'll go over there and check it out. You know, it just. Yes, I know. You can't take anything that man says seriously, because let me tell you something. They're not giving the private investigator any more information than any other person. I can tell you that. They're not working hand in hand like he thinks that they are working with him. They will take information in, but they do not give information out. Okay, That's the process. I know it well. And I know that well because even when I spent 4 hours with law enforcement on a different matter, they took a lot of information and gave very little. And they would ask open-ended questions. That's about it. And stuff like that. So I'm over the lies and the illusions here. If you guys believe that nonsense, believe it. He doesn't know his ass from his elbow. I hope Jen is not listening to the garbage he's saying, because all he's doing is probably just making stuff up. I don't know. I have no idea what he's doing. I don't know if he's making stuff up. I don't like him and have no respect for him. So there you have it. See what else here. I'm sorry, BJ. I thought it was important. It is important. But we yesterday. It's just funny because today he's saying we just said yesterday that we had found new information that's going to close a 4-hour gap, and today he's got a TBI statement. Okay, yeah. Oh, all right. We believe that one. Just saying. Idiot. Let's see, what else do we have? I like the background. Thank you. Yeah, I use it every now and then. It causes a little bit of lag in it, but I have to make the decision whether I can handle the lag for the nice, beautiful Bullhorn Betty behind it. And I just, you know what? I can deal with the lag, and so can you. Because I like the Bullhorn Betty. What can I say? What can I say? I'm proud of the name and I'm proud of the work we do, right? I'm proud of the name, proud of the work we do. Let me see I wish this thing would tell me when on my phone. I just don't like the app because on my phone, it tells me like the newest stuff, like which order it's in and when it was placed there. So I know the newest one. But this one doesn't do that for me for some reason. Let's see if I can go here. So we got 2 stories. So it looks like this one is the newest one. Okay, let's play this one and then we'll play the other one. Yeah, I can't play the music, unfortunately, because it might not knock me, but I'll go to the other one and see if I can play the newer one. Here we go.
For Gen Z. What's a beeper?
It's camera shy. I don't know. If somebody can send me the new one, I'll play it, but I can't seem to find it. But the stuff for that, I mean, we just and again, we don't even know if we're going to close that 4-hour gap. It's just I'll just leave it at that. We're going out there. We've got some information, and we're going to go check and see if it holds water. That's the best way to put it, right? So let's get back to this so we can get moving because we're already 30 minutes in. We got a lot of work to go through. So this is it. So they're saying that that they should challenge this forensic genetic genealogy testing directly as an unconstitutional general warrant. Saying that it's for a fishing expedition through millions of innocent people and DNA. And I actually think that they did already use this argument in one of their pleadings to elicit the investigative genetic genealogy testing information from the FBI. It says defendants who decide to challenge the forensic genetic search directly may face standing challenges or an argument that they lack privacy interest in genetic data searched because the defendant did not upload their own genetic information to the genetic genealogy database. Instead, investigators search data uploaded by defendants' biological relatives to generate leads in the investigation. If the individual who uploaded the data is not the person who ultimately stands trial, or put the other way, if the defendant on trial is not uploaded their own genetic data, courts may resist finding that the defendant had protectable privacy interest in the data. So there's an argument. However, it is possible to argue that the defendant does have a personal privacy interest. So are they going to start going down this personal privacy interest avenue to challenge the investigative genetic genealogy testing? It is absolutely possible. So they're saying that the personal privacy interest in the data, because some of the defendant's own genetic code is in the database because of the linkage or the genetic data that the defendant shares with the biological relatives. That's an interesting argument. If they were to use that argument, in relatives is what led the police to the defendants in the first place. And that really does kind of sound like what we're dealing with in the Bryan Kohberger case, is that they used this genetic information that they got from the knife sheath. And because his father or somebody must have did the DNA testing, they were able to link it through the family tree to him, which they're basically saying that they would never have found him in the first place had it not been for the genetic data uploaded by someone else. So they said they have this court stuff here. Hold on just a second. He's saying the best known sighting location is the AmeriCorps on June 26th, June 27th. I disagree. I absolutely disagree. He's an idiot because we've got witnesses that have seen her after that. That is not her last location. I can promise you that. I've got corroborated witnesses. He's an idiot. I pay no mind to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about, and he needs to do better at his job. So they have here, the Supreme Court recognizes in Carpenter versus United States that we can still have privacy interests in data sharing with another party, even if that data is outside of our own control. And they have some sightings here. This is case law. Remember, we talk about all the time that people can read statutes, and the statutes are pretty confusing anyways, right? Hey, Sarah, nice to see you. Yeah, Sarah, you can ask a question. So it's the case law that is the governing thing. So even if you read something one way and you don't understand the legalese, so Sarah Sweetness says, my question is, did the police solicit that family member of Bryan Kohberger's just to get the DNA matches so they can pin it on him? So my question is, I don't think they solicited the family members. I mean, to be honest with you, Sarah, it seems, my understanding, now this is my understanding, I may be, off a little bit, obviously do your own research, but the way I'm understanding it is that I'm going to have to walk through it. Okay. So just bear with me while I walk through it, because if I walk through it, I'll be able to explain it better. So my understanding is that the knife sheath was laying on Maddie's bed near, kind of under the comforter, but near her thigh. That obviously had a microscopic transfer of touch DNA on the button snap. The process with the United States Justice Department is that DNA has to be uploaded into the CODIS system, and they can't have a hit on the CODIS system, and they can't have hits on something else, and I can't remember what it is, but then they can start moving into where they take the profile that they found and remap it to an S&P type of profile so it can be uploaded in the genetic genealogy testing. It's my understanding that they didn't solicit any family members for this testing. Even the father's DNA wasn't found voluntarily. It was found from discarded garbage from the home in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. So I'm not sure if I answered your question. But that's my understanding. And it's my understanding that it wasn't until after they arrested Bryan Kohberger that they got the cheek swab and made the confirmed match to that button snap with that DNA profile. So that's where the fogginess gets in is, they have to challenge the investigative genetic genealogy testing, because I think it comes down to the fact that they didn't get the oral swab until after the arrest. And I think that might be important in this matter, because that shows that the investigative genetic genealogy testing may have led them to collect that garbage. And by collecting that garbage and matching that DNA profile to his father and allowing them to get the arrest warrant for Bryan Kohberger, and then taking the cheek swab and matching it, I think that's kind of how I see them challenging the DNA as a whole, is it has to come back to that genetic genealogy testing. If they can prove that they wouldn't have had the probable cause to make the arrest but for the genetic genealogy testing, and they can challenge that investigative genetic genealogy testing and be successful, then the DNA is out, because it's a fruit from the poisonous tree argument. They did everything improperly over here, which led them over there. I did just read the chat, Jen, and that's when I went by. Oh, here it is. Yeah, that's the one I can't play because she's got music on it. I can't play it. I can share it on TikTok, but I can't play it on YouTube because I don't know if it's YouTube friendly music. So, all right. So did you guys kind of understand that whole investigative, how they're trying to backdoor this? They're trying to get this the DNA out. The DNA is to me, it's not it is a very strong piece of evidence in the fact that it links biological material of Bryan Kohberger directly to the crime scene. That in and of itself is obviously huge. However, even in lack of that DNA, would they still have a very strong case that they could prosecute on and be successful? And my answer is yes, I truly do believe. Let me go back up here. I didn't even check to see if. Yeah, Jen, it's me. I read it, and just to explain to everybody in chat, this is going to just take you guys off the Bryan Kohberger case and the investigative genetic genealogy testing just ever so slightly. We've been advocating for Layla Santinello, which is a missing girl out she's 21 years old. She was 20 when she went missing out in Kingsport, Tennessee. She disappeared after staying at the AmeriCorps Hotel. She was fearful of something at the AmeriCorps Hotel. She ran away from there and slept in the woods near the hotel. And then she resurfaced out of the woods that morning, searching for something in the grass. She went on the green belt, and we have a witness that saw her come out of the woods, saw her get on the green belt, and saw her start traveling toward the Marble Slab Creamery. However, the issue here is that there's I don't know how to express this. I don't like this guy. He's a garbage PI. I feel like he's no different than that Jim Terry Yahoo that wanted to play PI that was never even licensed. This guy is licensed, but he's a joke, and he's in it to try to get a movie deal or whatever. I don't know what he's in it for, but he's not in it for the right reasons. And he lies to the people. He tells them he's going to do it for pro bono. And then it's like, oh, but I need to travel out there and you need to raise money. So I'm going to pimp you out to all these social media channels and couch it as you trying to advocate for your child while we collect money so I can go out there and look for your child. Meanwhile, he looks to people like me to monitor the situation so he can know which way to change and which way to do this and do that. He's saying that he's talking to TBI, which I know TBI very well. I know how they work because I've been dealing with them for 2 years now, right? And they will take information. They very rarely give information, and they definitely do not coordinate with private investigators. I can assure you of that. But now he's saying that, and throwing this in here, misrepresenting the facts. And I'm telling you, we have the facts. And now saying that they're not using the marble slab as the last sighting as at AmeriCorps. I can promise you, because I've interviewed many people out there, that the AmeriCorps is not the last official sighting of Layla Santinello. And that stupid Yahoo peddling that bullshit is about to piss me off, because that's not true. It's a flat out lie. And furthermore, he used me to try to pump himself up. He never intended to sue me. He never had grounds to sue me. And if he does, I'm going to tell him either to shit or get off the pot. Don't use my name again. Now, getting back to the investigative genetic genealogy testing, these are going to be the arguments that they're going to use. So they're basically saying that he has privacy right. Assuming defendant survives a standing challenge, they can argue that the forensic genetic genealogy search fails the Fourth Amendment requirement that search particularize support by probable cause and generally be conducted pursuant to a warrant. So it seems like, I think, what they're going to start doing is challenging the fact that this, when it gets there, when they get it and they start challenging it, they're going to be challenging it on the fact that they did not have the proper search warrant to pick. It's going to, I'm telling you, you guys, mark my words, this is going to be a fruit from the poisonous tree argument. However it's going to be couched, it's going to be couched where the DNA, because of these faulty things with the investigative genetic genealogy testing, they have to exclude the DNA because they would not have found it any other way. And this is improper and not done to the letter of the law. That's what they're going to be arguing. They also have in here C. Sanford versus Texas. And they said they are overly broad. They are overbroad because they encompass intensely private data from potentially millions of people. And these searches cannot be supported by probable cause because there's no evidence that any individual site user is in any way personally connected to the crime. The mere possibility that some users may share some genetic data with the forensic sample should not be sufficient to support probable cause search through all user data. So they're going to be challenging them using it to all of this data. So they've got several challenges here in the forensic genetic genealogy testing area. Forensic genetic searches are dragnets similar to officers searching every house. I love this argument, though. I do love this argument. It makes sense, though. It does make sense. I don't know if it holds water. I don't know if it's going to be properly argued, but this one here, I do like the argument just the way it's starting out. The forensic genetic genealogy searches are dragnets similar to officers searching every house in a town with a population of millions on the off chance that some of those houses could contain evidence useful to finding the perpetrator of the crime. This is the argument that seems like it would hold more weight because in my mind, this is a good, legit argument challenging those searches because it puts it into perspective, I think. He may challenge, Annette is saying, hold on, Annette, let me get you up here. By the way, hi, it's nice to see you, love. He may can challenge that DNA. Going to be pretty hard to challenge an eyewitness. Yes, you're absolutely correct. But you know what? See, this is the problem. Is I've been around the block a time or two with this stuff, and sometimes eyewitnesses, like even the forensic data, is so much better sometimes than eyewitnesses because eyewitnesses, especially ones that have traumatic experiences, the brain does funky things to them. You know, they block certain memories out. It has a way of changing things because your body has this unique way of protecting itself. And sometimes the brain protects its host from remembering traumatic experience. Sometimes some of the people, I don't know if you've ever had anybody, or maybe you've heard about it, where somebody was so traumatized, they forgot, like they forgot everything in their past. It's almost like an amnesia, if you will, but not. They remember a lot of aspects, but when it comes to a specific time frame, their memory is completely wiped. So, I'm excited to hear what Dylan has to say, because you know what I really am hoping for when it comes to Dylan, honestly, good Lord, you guys know this to be true. I really hope when it comes to Dylan that she explains the whole 8 hours. I just feel like, I'm hoping that there's a reasonable explanation, I really do. And I hope that the reasonable explanation finally makes everybody relax with her. I'm still, you guys know I don't talk. I'm not beating her up or anything like that. And when we do talk about that aspect of the case, you guys know how I feel about the whole 8 hour window and all that. It's just, I feel like there's more to that reasoning. And, even though I'm upset, there may be a plausible an explanation that none of us are looking at, right? It's possible. So I'm really hoping the plausible explanation comes out where everybody can say, you know what, we were a little too hard on her, even if it's, she was messed up and she didn't know what to do. I think we would all empathize at least with her, that's what I really do hope for. I kind of hope she kind of explains some of the stuff where it makes sense to us. But I do like this argument here. And it says the searches specify only an offense and leave the discretion to the executing. So it's even giving them the some ideas here. It says Segald versus the United States, and this is from 1981. Almost the definition: forensic genetic genealogy searches give police access to private information regardless of whether they use it. Therefore, forensic genetic genealogy searches is precisely the sort of general exploratory rummaging the Fourth Amendment was intended to preclude. So they're basically saying, this is a fishing expedition, as they were, speaking. And so they do have some grounds to challenge the investigative genetic genealogy testing. And then they have this conclusion. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just read this verbatim for each and every one of you, just so you guys can hear it. And it says, the ability to research family history and disease risks shouldn't carry the threat that our data will be accessible to police and used in a way we never could have foreseen. Research shows that individuals in the United States believe that the data stored in the genetic genealogy company is intensely private. They rank FGG searches on par with searches of bedrooms, text messages, or emails. That's because these searches invade our privacy in unique ways. They allow law enforcement to access information about us that we may not even know ourselves, that we have no ability to hide or change, and that could reveal more about us in the future than scientists know now. For all these reasons, legislatures should follow the Maryland and Montana's lead and enact sufficient restrictions or bans on FGG searches. Until that time, defense attorneys should continue to challenge them in their cases. And they go through a lot of different resources and cases to help challenge this investigative genetic genealogy testing. And, I just really thought this was a very interesting topic of conversation, because we know this is really even though I feel they can overcome this case, right? I feel like they can overcome this case even if the DNA is thrown out. I think there's a good path forward for conviction of Bryan Kohberger even without it. But I still don't want to be blindsided, with the arguments there. I want to get ahead of these arguments that we're going to be seeing coming out related to Bryan Kohberger's defense. The cost of searching evidence would be cost prohibitive. Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying I like the argument. That's all I'm indicating, is that the argument seemed like the other arguments were, they were okay arguments. But this last one that I read, I thought had more, like, more punch and was more in line with what we're seeing with the Bryan Kohberger case, more or less. You know what I'm saying? So I like it. I like it. And you guys know how I feel about this. And we talked about the privacy issues. We talked about everything that they're talking about here. You know, I want to know. I want to make sure I'm a privacy person, and that's not going to change. With criminal law or otherwise, or bad guys or nothing. I'm not changing my stance on privacy, whether it helps law enforcement or not, because I value my privacy and I'm entitled to my privacy, whether it helps convict somebody or not. I am a person that did not 23andMe. I think it was Heritage DNA. I think they were one of the first ones that ever did the DNA. It was a lot more costly than it is now. But I wanted to know where I came from, because I had been getting conflicting stories throughout my family, throughout the history, hearing my history. I was curious, because I've always believed that everybody in this world is a Heinz 57. I think this is an amazing tool that shows everybody that, you know, we may be blonde hair and blue eyes, but we have a lot of different ethnicities that make each and every one of us so special, you know? And so I was very curious about mine myself. But I don't recall if there was a question at that time whether law enforcement could use that of mine. And I honestly, I did that like 20 years ago. So how do I remember what I selected 20 years ago? And now my biological material is out there that somebody can access, because I chose to, and it seems like this genetic genealogy testing would be covered under HIPAA. It's something to protect someone. So I do understand these arguments with the privacy stuff. You know, there is a policy and procedure to go through. You have, you know, especially in criminal court, you can't, you know, prosecutors have to be very careful. This investigative genetic genealogy testing and stuff like that, this is the Brady issue. We knew it was going to be a big issue. We just didn't know what it was. We were speculating that might be somebody planting evidence and stuff like that. It was actually just the opposite. It was the removal of a specific tool that was used that derived a result that got somebody arrested, you know, Bryan Kohberger. And and I always said, you know, I'm not really familiar with this investigative genetic genealogy testing, but I've always been told a long time ago, it doesn't matter whether it's going to be used at court or not. Defense is entitled to, you know, to your processes. But this was a new process for me. I had never dealt with investigative genetic genealogy testing. And so I cautioned everybody, I don't know how the judge is going to rule, but in every other sense of discovery, it would have been, defense would have been entitled to it. And of course, the judge did rule that they are entitled to it. So they're getting this. And I wanted to see what challenges they're going to be bringing up when, you know, how they could possibly handle this investigative genetic genealogy testing, or why they're focusing so much on this, you know, what we perceive as insignificant, because the prosecution isn't going to use it in the trial. So why are they fighting so much for it? Well, we need to get smart on it. Why are they fighting it? It's because it's going to be a fruit from the poisonous tree argument. And how are they going to be able to do it? The only way they're going to be able to do it is challenge the heck out of the investigative genetic genealogy testing, which is what led them to Albrightsville to collect the garbage, to make the connection for Bryan Kohberger's dad to Bryan Kohberger, which led to Bryan Kohberger's arrest, where they got the cheek swab that they were able to use. They removed that investigative genetic genealogy testing. They had no reason to be, they had no reason to be in Albrightsville. They had no reason to be there collecting his father's garbage to test the DNA, and they would have never had enough probable cause to make the arrest of the DNA and collect the DNA from Bryan. That's how this is going to work. So I really think this is it. This is how they're challenging it. This is how they're going to make it the fruit from the poisonous tree argument. And so I'm very interested in it. And I know they've made some of these. I remember reading when they were arguing to get that investigative genetic genealogy testing in. So we'll see how that is. His defense will have a hard time to dispute the technological evidence. Is that Tammy? Is it Tammy or Tommy? Tammy. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. There's a lot of forensic, and that's, I think you and I might be on the same wavelength with related to, if this DNA was removed, they still have a very strong case. They have him turning his phone off during the times of the crime. They have his defense already conceding that he was in the car. So yeah. So I hope you guys learned something. We're going to be going down this as the more information and the more, I mean, I've got several tabs here. I am literally, researching this argument because it's going to be important in the Bryan Kohberger case. And I want to get ahead of it and see which way, Nancy Taylor is going to be arguing. Plus, we also have to look at how is the prosecution going to withstand these challenges. We need to look at the laws that govern their position as well, and see which one's the strongest, right? So we're going to be taking a deep dive in here, guys. We're back. We've been making sure that we're coming here. What does Ann say? Ann says only certain databases allow law enforcement access. Each person that uploads their DNA to the database that allow law enforcement to access must choose to opt in before law enforcement is allowed to access. That's what we're told, Ann. I agree with you right there. That is what we are told. That's what we're told the process is. But my question is I was done 20 years ago or more. I don't know if that question was even asked. I don't know if they were even thinking of using those databases for law enforcement at the time. It was so new at the time that I took my test. That's my question. How am I going to challenge something if I don't know what I said? I have to rely on them to tell me that I opted in or opted out because I don't remember. And what if, and I've read some articles that they ended up changing something and opting everybody out and making them go in there and physically opt in. I never received notification of that. I don't know if that happened for me. This is causing, and I am a privacy person. Like I want people, if people want to help, I mean, if people want to help, if they said, hey, we're building this DNA database for a genetic genealogy tree to help law enforcement, I bet you millions and millions and millions of people would participate in something like that to help law enforcement. It's the not knowing, me personally, I don't know what I did. And that's being honest. I may have at the time said, I'd love to help law enforcement. And then, because I was, young, 18, 19, when I took the test. So I may have been, one of those people that I want to just help. But now over the years, I've smartened up and realized, hey, wait a minute, I'm giving away a lot of my privacy and I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. I want my privacy. I want my privacy rights and I want to maintain my privacy. So what do I do then? What does anybody do? I don't even know if I opted in or opted out. I don't know if they have access to me in my biology. I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't remember. Your DNA was tested long ago. You stated law enforcement access is governed by law. At the time you had your DNA test, this was not an issue. Your DNA would not be used by law enforcement. Okay, well, that's good to know. But again, I'd like to read that, I mean, in all fairness, right? I don't know you. I don't know where you're getting your information from. Just all fairness. Not that the information is not accurate. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. But I would like to see maybe something in writing that from a government agency that tells me that, I don't want to be taking some stranger that's in my chat's word for it that my biological material is not being used by law enforcement. And quite frankly, I don't know how I feel about it because I never really prayed over it. I've never really thought about it. I might be willing to put my DNA in a database to help law enforcement. I've never thought about it. I don't know if I would frown upon that. I'm a privacy person, but would I, in my better judgment, think that helping solve a crime or help someone find their loved one, or because my family is split apart, maybe there's an adopted family member out there that's looking to find family members. Maybe there's family I don't know I have. I don't know. But I mean, I just want something in writing. I appreciate all your information, Ann. I really do. There was an option to opt in at that time. The database your DNA was tested on does not allow law enforcement activity. Okay, perfect. All right. But yeah, I'd still like to see that. I want to see him say it. I'm sorry. I'm just joking. So anyways, but yes, thank you for all that wonderful information, and I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Food for thought. Let's see what Rusty has to say. Food for thought. What is in a year or so when this actually comes to trial, they retest the DNA with the accelerated intelligence. There's no question they can't question the results. I don't know. The accelerated intelligence. You're going to have to explore that a little more with me at a later date. Do you think it was possible that the car led them to the Pennsylvania address? The car belonged to his mom. Yeah, that's going to be the. You know what, Annette? That's most likely going to be the challenge of the state. Them saying that they would admit it there. And they've already pretty much said that, and we've discussed that on here about what came first, the car or the hit from the investigative genetic genealogy. Where did they hear the name Bryan Kohberger first? And according to the probable cause affidavit, they heard Bryan Kohberger at the car when that Wazoo officer called it in, and that was on November 29th. So that was the first time they heard his name. And yes, you're absolutely right. That car would have led them to that Pennsylvania address. So, but they would never, still him just having a white car with a missing plate on the front of it, I don't think would have rose to the level of probable cause, so much so that they would go to the Pennsylvania address with the hundreds and hundreds of other suspects that they needed to clear. I mean, I could be wrong, but you're right. We have discussed it, that the car did come first, and I do believe that one way or another they were going to find Bryan Kohberger. I think that this whole investigative genetic genealogy testing is going to be challenged, and I think that because it's so new, there's going to be problems on both the challenge and the rebuttal, because this is, I mean, it's been used in the past, but how many times is it, we're just now starting to get into where it's being used in court cases. And we've already seen some challenges where they're saying, this wasn't even done. They try to do that where it's not our test. Like, it was a tip. Remember that? They were trying to say that the FBI sent them a tip and didn't constitute. The actual tip from them is what they should have turned over to them, not the investigative genetic. Like, they were arguing it. They were finding clever ways to argue and try to keep it out. But now that it's in. So they're going to use it to their advantage. They're going to use this investigative genetic genealogy. The defense is going to use it to their advantage. Every possibility. They need to exclude it. They need to get the DNA, fruit from the poisonous tree, because then the entire DNA being found on this button snap is gone. And so now all they have is this sheath. They will never, if the defense can get this investigative genetic genealogy testing out, they may have a good chance of not even being able to bring up in the trial that there was DNA on that knife sheath. That's how important these arguments right now, these upcoming arguments are going to be, because they may be able to present to the jury that there was a knife sheath on the bed next to Maddie Mogen's leg, but they'll never be able to tell that jury that there was touch DNA on that button snap. And they will never be able to talk about the DNA on that button snap unless, now they can. Everybody says, well, if the judge did rule, okay, this is speculation all day long. The DNA is still in the case right now. It has not been excluded. They have not done an evidentiary hearing on it or nothing. So right now it's there. We're just playing devil's advocate over here. So if the DNA was excluded, then the jury would hear that there was a knife sheath next to Maddie Mogen's leg. They wouldn't be able to say, but oh yeah, I remember what I was getting at. But they would be able to get it in, even after the judge ruled that they could not get it in, if Bryan Kohberger or Bryan Kohberger's defense opens Pandora's box. If they accidentally open the door or say something, then they can bring that in. Remember, Alec Murdaugh's defense team had so much stuff excluded from the trial as being too prejudicial to Alec Murdaugh. So that means that the probative value prejudice outweighed the probative value. And that basically means that it's so prejudicial to Alec Murdaugh that you can't even explore it. So it's removed, okay? And Alec Murdaugh had several things, like the financial crimes. They were excluded. They weren't supposed to be brought in. Cousin Eddie wasn't supposed to be brought in. And there was something else that wasn't supposed to be brought in, but for the defense accidentally asking questions, and it opened Pandora's box where now the state attorney could explore those factors. And even though they fought like tooth and nail to exclude those from the trial because of the mistakes of the defense, it was now allowed to be entered into the trial transcript, and the jury was now allowed to hear it. This is, if they were to get the DNA excluded, it could be brought back in by unintentional mistakes of the defense. I think I explained it. I'm trying over here. I'm trying to make sense. You know, I know this stuff, and I try to make it. I try to make it make sense to you guys. But you know what? I'm not a teacher, right? I'm not a teacher. I don't have a teaching certificate. I don't know how to make it fun for you. Okay? So I'm going to stick around just for a few minutes, see if anybody has any questions. And if I don't have the answer, maybe we can look it up and see what we can find. But I really think we need to be focusing on the case law. Let's not focus on the statutes in Idaho. What the statute, we need to look at the case law and read what the case law says they can and can't do with this investigative genetic genealogy testing. Let's look at the case law with what challenges these investigative genetic genealogy arguments, and the rebuttals, like how the state argues when the defense is challenging these things. We need to look at what the prosecution has at their disposal to keep this stuff into the trial case, right? We need the DNA in the case. So I hope you all learned something. I'll give you guys just a few more seconds and see if you guys have any other questions. And then it's been a long day for me, as you guys can imagine. And it is what it is. It is what it is. But there is a statement I would like to kind of make, and I'm not even sure if it's probably appropriate or not, but I'm going to make it anyways, because I do what I do. Nobody's going to tell me what I can and cannot do. I don't care about the lawsuit, whatever. I'm going to do what I do. This idea, and I heard some commentary from Dolly. I heard some commentary from Dolly about the lawsuit, and it just needs to be dropped. First of all, I just want to make it very clear that what you guys keep hearing from their side is that they did, they're just talking smack. What you guys don't know is, no, they weren't just talking smack. They were following me. They had me under surveillance, online and offline. Okay. They've been doing this for quite some time. There's just a lot. Trust me, I don't like being in lawsuits with people. This is taking a lot of time and a lot of money out of my pocket to do. You guys know I have not asked anybody for one single dollar for this lawsuit. I did that for a purpose. There's a reason why I have chosen not to hire an attorney, because I could have very easily came here and raised just as much money, right? And got an attorney, and we could have went after this. But the bottom line is I truly believe I'm on the right side of this. People are saying that they can come to social media and do whatever the hell that they want to do. They can destroy people's lives. They can say whatever they want to, and they have a right to do it. If that was true, there would not be laws such as defamation, right? If you could just come out and wield your words and try to lie, be conniving, and destroy, and try to destroy it. Let me just put this in perspective. Everybody knows that YouTube is predominantly all of my money, right? I make all the money that I go out and search for people from this platform. So you're not talking about somebody coming here and just talking shit about me. You're talking about somebody that tried to remove me from the YouTube platform, that tried to stop me from being able to even afford groceries or to keep my lights on. I want to put that into perspective for everybody to understand what was truly going on. And while many people are upset and think that I shouldn't have done this lawsuit or this is stupid, until you walk in my shoes, until you had to deal with what I've had to deal with, until your mods had to be strung across this, until your family had to be strung across this, everything that they said, they tried to tell people that I did to them, they were doing to me 10 times fold. And I never did any of that to them. I do not have troll accounts. I do not go in their chats. I do not watch them. I do not follow them. I do not stalk them. I do not try to cause them harm. All I do is go out there and try to do good in the world. And I became the bad guy because I was becoming popular. And everything I did went under a microscope, even after what they said they didn't like about me stopped. 10 months later, she's coming to take my damn channel, cause me financial ruin. And while that may be okay for you guys because you're not dealing with it, but I want you to go and sit in your home and turn off all your lights for the next 3 days. Turn off your air conditioning and don't eat a stitch of food. And then you tell me how comfortable you feel and what you're willing to do to turn those lights back on and put food back in that refrigerator. And I don't want to hear a damn thing about this. I'm going after a single mom. She's got another man living in that house, helping her pay those bills. We all know that. I'm sick and tired of hearing people tell me to get a job. I work hard, very hard, sometimes 10, 12-hour days while that fat ass is over there talking shit about every single person. It's so easy to put a magnifying glass on everybody else when you don't want to look at yourself or your behavior. I'm over it. I will tell you this. If she would like to settle, I'm open to a settlement. This is not going away. You do not have a right to do what they did to me. It is a fucking felony. A felony. I've been telling people here that what they're doing is criminal. And I'm over it. And this will not go away until a judge makes it go away. Now, if she wants to settle, I'm all ears. But what they put me through for the last year, somebody's paying me something. Because I am damaged. A lot more than people think. And it's because of one person that went out and elicited help to try to destroy me. No, I will not put up with it. So they can sit there and run their mouth all day long. But even their philosophy makes no sense. Because if you can just come onto YouTube and just do whatever the hell you wanted to do, then why in the world do we have laws against it? Just asking for a few friends. God bless.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.